Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing another Walking Dead video for today, leading up to tonight's episode for The Walking Dead Season 9, which is Episode 7. We're going to do a Q&A, but first, let's give our thoughts on when do we think we will see The Walking Dead's first movie air. And spoiler warning, I thought this was a great topic to go ahead and get started with today. Tonight's episode coming up. Pretty excited for it, but of course we can't forget that they did announce also that we're going to be seeing a Walking Dead trilogy eventually here when it finally does get finished and everything. So I thought we would start off this video. We'll do Q&A questions coming up soon about the original canon series and everything, as it's still obviously running week to week, and we're just about getting ready for the mid-season finale, for the mid-season break. But I thought this was a good one since it's still kind of fresh. It's been a couple weeks now since Rick's final episode. This will be the second episode after him leaving. So I thought it'd be a good topic to go ahead and give our thoughts on when do we actually think that we're going to see the movie air, the first movie air. Now, from what we can gather, they've said they're going to be full feature movies. They're going to be full feature films. They're going to do 3 of them. It's going to be a trilogy. And obviously this sounds very exciting. I think people are really happy to hear this versus them just killing Rick off and not having any kind of answer afterwards, just having the regular show continue to run. Instead, they're building off of that and they're creating this trilogy movie series. And it should be really great. Now, in terms of what we've been told, full feature film, so equivalent to what you might see in theaters, probably higher budget than the regular Walking Dead series. So you're looking at something like maybe in about an hour to an hour and a half, well, probably longer than an hour, like with their commercials, an hour and a half to 2 hour type of block, something like that probably is what I'm thinking. And it'd probably be easier to make than a season or a half season or something like that, considering the amount of time that it's gonna run for, the runtime of the movies. But of course, 2018, this year, was Rick's final season, so he worked on season 9. And after that, basically, he was done right after the 5 episodes. So this was kind of like, I want to say, a half year for Andrew Lincoln in terms of work. But it obviously worked out really well for him because we heard he got paid like $11 million to do it. So, so that's pretty sweet for 5 episodes. It's like over $2 million. No, so that's pretty awesome. So there was that, of course, that he did this year. Next year, this one's hard to predict. 2019. Will they actually start working on the first movie in 2019? So this one could go either way. I could see it. There hasn't been any news yet, so we don't know yet if they're going to start working on 2019 or it's going to be 2020. But based on the fact that this is such a huge revamp and everything like that, and he did still work half a year in 2018, so it's not like he didn't work this year. It's not really a year off, right? He did work. He just did those 5 episodes, and then after that, basically, he went home early for the year. He kind of did put in a half year compared to usual from the sounds of things, right? Or maybe a little less than half, because 5 episodes, and then the other 3, of course, he's not going to be in or isn't in. So I'm thinking next year they probably would be writing it out. They probably would be planning all the details on how they're going to do this. So I would not actually expect in 2019 for them to start actually filming this thing, the first movie. I would tend to think it'd probably be a year off for him again, like half year, and then a full year off next year in 2019. And I could be wrong in that. Of course, none of this has been confirmed. This is just speculation. But that's what I'm thinking. They'll be probably writing it, planning it out, deciding what they're going to do, doing all the business stuff around it, budgeting and all that stuff to prepare for it and to plan for it. And then I'm thinking 2020, so the year after next year, is probably when they will start doing the filming and production. Now, this one is tricky to say in terms of how long it will take them to do it and whether or not it's going to be like just kind of a couple hour time block on AMC with a big premiere for the movie, that people can tune in and watch it on there, or if it's going to be something they're going to want to do. Maybe they do that too, but maybe they also take it to a theater release and they try to do a cinematic release for it. I think there's enough of an audience there to do a cinematic release for it. I mean, there's a lot of B movies. If you want to look at zombie apocalypse movies, there's lots of B movies for zombie apocalypse stuff that gets movie releases. But there's a lot of details involved with that. Whether or not AMC is going to want to show it in theaters, whether they're going to want to to keep it on their network to maintain control over it, whether they would offer it to, like, they could do something crafty, like do something like you have to have premium to watch it or something, and if you have premium you can watch it, and if you don't then you can't, or something crazy like that. Although people would be pissed off if they did it that way, but it sure would get a lot of people to sign up for their premium service or what have you. So it's tricky to say how this whole thing is going to work out and how they're going to plan it and how they're going to do it. But I'm tending to think that 2020 is probably the year where they'll do probably most of the filming, most of the production, even though, fingers crossed, I hope they would start next year, but I think it's probably too early, considering it seems to me like they kind of just announced it, and it's just in kind of the, just getting the wheels running on that thing, and I don't think it'll be ready anytime soon. So I'm thinking 2020, they film it, they produce it, do editing and all that stuff, and maybe the earliest it could air is probably late 2020 if it's a full feature, big deal type of movie. So, that's a ways away, right? That's probably like the end of the year. That'd be like maybe like October, November, December, Halloween night release or something like that could be cool. But something like that. More likely than that, though, they work the whole year on it in 2020, and finally the first movie is probably ready in 2021, right? So that's really crazy. In terms of seasons, this is season 9, right? So this is going to finish at the start of next year. Then there'll be 10 in the second half of 2019. Finish off 11 in 2020. So at the end of that year starting and then finishing. And then finally it'd be like around season 12 by the time the first movie finishes, if that's accurate, unless they can do kind of all the stuff they need to do within 2019 to 2020 and have it ready near the end of that year for airing. So we'll have to see when the actual release date is going to be so we can actually get to see Rick return in The Walking Dead. Again, I know a lot of people, we're enjoying the series through, and it's still great and everything like that. But a lot of us are really hyped for the movie too. Me personally, I'm very hyped for the movie, and probably more so hyped for the movie than the regular episodes. But we're going to have to, it's going to be cooked for a while. We're going to have to wait for a while until that thing's done. So leave your comments below. This is purely speculation right now. When do you guys think we will see the first Walking Dead movie release? And what makes most sense to you for how long it takes to get these kind of things done? That's kind of what I'm thinking, or what I'm looking at, is that's probably will be when we see it. And it's kind of unfortunate, but it's better than nothing, and it will be cool. It could be one of the most epic things we've ever seen for Walking Dead, because if you guys remember the first season of The Walking Dead, where it had like 6 episodes, those 6 episodes were amazing, right, for a first year. I mean, it really, a lot of people love that quality that we got to see Frank Darabont's work and everything in the first season. And the first couple episodes really did look movie quality. So this could be something even bigger, bigger budget, even maybe more zombies, even better locations. We'll see. So, leave the comments below. When do you guys think you'll see it? I think late 2020 or 2021, and more likely it being 2021. As sad as that makes me to think it through, right? Next one is, so Trev, do you think that Rick is still alive after the 6 years? So as of right now, in the Walking Dead television series timeline, is Rick still alive at that point? And there's some different theories on this one. Some people think that he actually may have returned at some point, and they just haven't said it. But it kind of sounds like, based on the way the series is running through, it feels like, to me, the way I look at it, as since he left, they have never seen or heard from him again. That's the impression that I get from watching it through, that he never came back during that 6-year time skip. And even though you can kind of look through the episodes and kind of see it, it's one of those type of things where I almost feel like that's just a given, that he has not returned yet. We have not seen him return during that time, and our survivors in that world have not seen him either. RJ has never met his father, so far as we know. So as a result of that, I would say that he has to still be alive, I think, at this time in the TV series, 6 years after the helicopter left. And just for some reason or another, he was never able to come back, or he didn't have, maybe he was in another coma and he didn't wake up for a couple years or something. He didn't have the wherewithal, he got amnesia or something, and he didn't know who he was anymore to actually want to go back, or he was trapped in a bunker or something and he couldn't, right? So that's kind of what I'm thinking for that, and that'd be really cool, because do you really think they're going to run through the rest of the Walking Dead universe TV series version and never have Rick find out that he has another son? I don't think so. I think that'd be blasphemous if they didn't at least have one scene with him and RJ and Michonne again. at the very end. Even if it's not in the first movie, if we have to wait till the third movie, which could be like, who knows, 2024 or something like that at the earliest. Still, I think that we will get to see it, and we damn well better, man. I feel like it's owed to the fans. You have to see it, right? Prince Forever says Kirkman will be on Talking Dead, so maybe we will get more information about upcoming movies? ? I was thinking more that if he's going to be on Talking Dead, it might be more about the Whispers and the stuff that he's done for The Walking Dead, obviously, creating it and everything, and the different characters he's created. I don't know how involved he's going to be with the movies. That kind of strikes me as like something that probably Gimple is most responsible for, but Kirkman may have been involved too as well to do something like that. I do think it's a great idea, and I'm glad they're going forward with it. It's really smart. It's definitely better than killing them off or something. It makes a lot of sense to me. And again, if it's too expensive for them to keep Andrew Lincoln in every episode, and pay like $2 million times like 13 episodes, like $26 million a year to him or something every year, every season, which is difficult to commit to. The movies are something where it could make more sense, where he could earn, probably a higher rate of pay as Rick to keep coming back as him, and they could do something like that, and it could be even more epic. So it'd make more sense in like a movie budget than it would a TV series budget, where you look at it, it's going to blow out your budget just having him in every episode, right? You won't be able to do all that much in the episodes because you got to pay him this much, and then after that you don't have that much in terms of resources left over for everyone else you got to use, and all the zombies and everything, environments and everything that goes into the series, just too expensive maybe. But in the movie budget, it could work. It could make sense, right? So yeah. Dread Vibe 1 says, Trev Q&A, do you believe AMC decided to do the Walking Dead movies to position themselves and Andrew Lincoln to win big awards, such as the Oscars, since Game of Thrones has won many? So I think it's mostly I know that Andrew Lincoln said he wanted to be with his family, that kind of thing, and he didn't want to have to come over and do every episode every season. And that there's probably a lot of truth to that. It's probably that, as the years have gone by, he's worked so hard for so many years on the show that he can't keep doing the all-the-timer thing anymore. Because, I think when he goes over to work on Walking Dead, he's basically an all-the-timer. So he probably would be working, as it sounds, all the time, right? So, well, he's there during those 16-episode blocks. He might not be in every episode, but he's basically working kind of nonstop. They're doing production. They're doing all that stuff. So his work is probably his life when he has to do the series like that. This option, he probably just said, I can't sign up for another 7 years of doing this or something, right? It's just too crazy to have to do it. So for him, it probably made more sense to do the movies. He can go out probably for, I don't know, maybe a few months and then go back or something, or, they can have a different type of schedule for him. And, it'll probably fit his pay scale better in terms of what makes the most sense. And they may have wanted to do it anyway. That's a big opportunity and a great idea to do a Walking Dead movie. I mean, The Walking Dead is already better than any zombie movie that's ever been done, in my opinion. So for them to do this, I think it makes a lot of sense, and it's probably the right answer to him not being able to commit to 13 episodes a season, being there all the time, working so hard. And then for them, it's like, well, we can pay you more if you do this, and you get to work less time. It's sort of like a half deal. He does half the work and gets paid just the same amount or whatever. It works for him. He stays in it, keeps the fan base happy, and works for AMC that they don't have to blow out their budgets in every episode. Brian Atcham says, RJ already has more fans than Tara. So I like that one. Mark and Tara has some fans too, right? So, but she's got some haters too, that's for sure. Alana probably wouldn't be happy with that one. Mark Ryan says, shouldn't watch previews, man. Ruins the episode. And it's true that this year, with the new premiere service they're doing, premium service that AMC's doing, they're releasing like a lot more stuff for the episodes, like the first 4 minutes, and then the sneak peeks, and then the promos. And there's just lots of stuff they're releasing. So, it does take away from the episodes. When we saw the scene at the end of episode 6, it was in the trailer, so it wasn't, the whispers coming through and Rosita and Eugene being there and hiding. So it was a cool scene and everything, but I don't think it was mind-blowing. I think it was just like, you saw it in the trailer, you knew what it was. They're there, it's what it is. Cool, whispers are here now. I want to see Alpha, I want to see Beta, I want to see the first kind of, main standout whisperers showing up soon. And I hope that we do. Sean Indigo says, I originally said I would stop watching post Rick, but I changed my mind. I'm still enjoying the show. So I'm happy to hear that from Sean. And from most people, that's what I'm hearing as well, too. Janet Person says, Trev Q&A, where's the Oceanside group? Hilltop or back in their original location? I think the Oceanside group is probably back in the original location, but you might have something there that maybe the Oceanside has joined the Hilltop or been, affiliated with, because they love Maggie. Right, and so maybe they would, have a better relationship with Maggie and the Hilltop than any of the other communities. But I would tend to think they're probably back where they usually are, Oceanside. Brian Joseph says, was Morales even real? So a lot of people didn't like the Is Even Real video about RJ. I think it's mainly because, Magna sees him and everything, so it's one where it feels like a stretch. And I want you guys to understand, it's not my theory. You guys bring this stuff to me, and then I take it and we do what we do with it, right? So I don't ignore you guys. So if there's enough of you guys who say, Morales should come back in the show, I may take an hour to do a petition and send it to AMC, and then they may bring him back in season 8. It's happened. So, or maybe they meant to bring him back anyway, and what we said had no impact. But Gail and her did say that it did. So anyway, long story short, I don't ignore you guys, and they don't ignore us either. If we want Morales back, he's coming back, right? So, But I think the thing with the whole RJ thing about the whole idea of him not being real would be such a buildup and such a drop. Like, it would be so brutal. Because it's so promising and it's so beautiful to see and everything like that, and Rick to leave a legacy there, and for Michonne too to have that happiness. And if you're going to take that away from them, it's like, can they ever be happy ever? And make it out like Michonne's crazy. So a lot of people hate the idea. They really, really adamantly hate the idea, and I absolutely get that. And some people just it's such a stupid idea. Of course he's real, right? And it's like, yeah, I get what you're saying. It's just that the scene at the end was strange, the way Judith kind of goes up and then he comes out. But again, it's difficult for them to film stuff with the youngins because they have to match the audio. So sometimes if you listen carefully, you can hear that they probably re-recorded the audio later and then put it in to have it match. And it never matches properly. I know this because I've done it myself in editing. It never quite matches 100%. It's like impossible. Sometimes one time I spent over an hour trying to get one of my trailers get the sound to match. And even after an hour, as close as I could get it with different effects and different levels and listening to both back and background environmental noise and all that, it still didn't match perfectly. So it's difficult to get it to match when you're on a microphone like this in a small area versus in a different location that kind of has its own type of sound, right? So that's probably mainly what it was, is just that they had to dub it in after, and it doesn't quite match 100%, so for a lot of people it feels awkward. Holly Mainland says, Rick's death has obviously affected the communities a lot. Even Daryl has gone off on his own. The glue keeping everyone together is gone, and this is the result. Communities have split, Sanctuary has fallen, and Rick's demise has changed everything. Unfortunately, yes, it has, and not in the way he would have wanted it to, or Carl would have wanted it to. Daryl is just depressed and sad, and he's gone off on his own, unfortunately. The Sanctuary has just been decimated, basically, by their own inefficiencies. And not being self-reliant, depending on others to provide for them, and basically bullying them into doing so, having a lot of their key members taken out. So man, they didn't last, and it's unfortunate because Rick wanted everybody to get together, hold hands, and sing Kumbaya. And as Negan said, it's not basically just wait until it all falls apart. And unfortunately, he was right. So it's what it is. Also, be interesting whether or not we'll ever see Rick see Negan again. Whether or not this season includes Negan and Rick's last sequence together. I think it probably does. Slamastic C says, Trev, what kind of time jump do you think we'll see in Fear the Walking Dead? I'm thinking a 2-year time jump, at least a year. Yeah, they've got to go at least a couple of years or something. I like Fear to be close to the Walking Dead timeline. Right now it's not at all because of these time jumps. So I hope that with Fear it gets a little bit closer this upcoming year. And I can't wait to see a trailer for Fear. That's going to be fun, man, because I like Morgan a lot, man. And that's another thing about Rick leaving and everything. If they had Morgan there, it'd probably be even easier. But damn, it feels like the original series is such a thin roster after this last year or two. It's crazy. Last one will be from Earl Butters, who says, Trev, do you read the Walking Dead novels? You never talk about them. I wondered if they would ever adapt them for new shows or movies. What are your thoughts? Well, unfortunately, I don't really get enough time to read novels. See, the thing about reading novels, and this happened with A Song of Ice and Fire for me too, because I was committed to going through it. I wanted to go through it all, and I started doing everything, and the clock just ticks and ticks and ticks, and then before you know it, I'm just like out of time, and it's like I've almost made no progress. Reading is very slow. I find reading novels to be a very slow method of transfer of information. And some people like it. It's relaxing. You can sit back and, you can read a novel through if you have the time. So unfortunately for me, I've never had the time, since doing the channel takes up so much of my free time after I'm done my day job, to read the Walking Dead novels. I definitely have read every issue of the comic, most of them, a lot of them, a few times over, but I've never read the novels, and I'm sure they're great and everything like that. Maybe we'll see something interpreted or adapted from them in the future, but for some kind of AMC Walking Dead series or something, we probably will at some point. But personally for me, I've never really read them through, and that's not a knock against them. I'm sure they're good. It's just something that I've never had time to do. Same with the Walking Dead game, to play it all the way through, Telltale. I'm sure it's great. A lot of people tell me, hey, Trev, it's amazing. But, it's something that I just, unfortunately, never got enough time to go through. You can't do everything, man. Can't do everything. And that's what it is. Anyway, that's it for today, guys. I'm done, but I'll see you again, of course, tonight for, watching episode 7. Excited for that. Review, predictions for episode 8. The mid-season finale is coming up almost already. And lots of Q&As coming up this week. So leave me a comment. Let me know what you guys think. When will we see the first Walking Dead movie air? What will the release date be? If you like this one, thumb it up, share favorite. Thank you guys all for subscribing so much. Appreciate all you guys who subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you again soon. It's Trev. I'm saying peace. Later, guys. See you soon.